Well, many thanks for joining us. You're watching QTV and we're broadcasting live from our studios along Keraba Avenue. And this is the news with me, Ansmane Sonyasi. Our headlines this evening: Senegalese nationals in Sanyang who sought refuge fearing reprisals following a fatal stabbing have been visited by Gambian and Senegalese officials. The first of what will be two final batches of Gambian Armed Forces personnel from Darfur returned home on Tuesday following the conclusion of their mission. In a bid to tackle unscrupulous dumping and other serious issues affecting our forests, various stakeholders in the West Coast region came together to find workable solutions. And we report on two fire incidents that raise the question, why do so few homes and businesses take out insurance? In international news, German authorities arrest, charge and detain by law a former member of ex-President Jammeh's alleged hit squad, the Junglers. In business news, staff of Access Bank staged a sit-down strike, causing great inconvenience for customers. Striking staff say the action relates to grievances over promotion and pay. And in sports, the newly elected president of African football's governing body sets out his ambitious plans for the African game. Well, for more on these and other stories coming up, do stay tuned. And now we take a look at the news in detail. Now, dozens of Senegalese nationals who ran for their lives following the killing of a man in Sanyang village, allegedly by a Senegalese man, have taken refuge in Batokunku. They are being cared for, by the authorities while negotiation is ongoing about a long-term solution. Babkarsi reports.
Dozens of men and women with their children are seeking refuge at a school in Batokunku after an incident on Monday in Sanyang, when a Senegalese national is accused of killing a Gambian and a native of Sanyang village. The killing led to the burning of the police station, the fish mill where the Senegalese man works, and the boats owned by Senegalese nationals. The governor of West Coast Region, Lamin Sane, on Wednesday accompanied the Senegalese ambassador to the Gambia to Batokunku, where the Senegalese are resident while awaiting the authorities to find a solution. As can be seen in these images, the Gambian authorities are taking care of these Senegalese people as the immigration officers, paramilitaries, National Disaster Management Agency are all working to ensure they are safe and taken care of. This has impressed Senegal's ambassador Bassirou Sen, who told his citizens that the incident in Sanyang is unfortunate and regrettable, but the countries are one people of the same origin. I pray to God that something like this never happens again between these two countries, as we are all one people divided by the Western people, leading to us having two presidents and speaking two foreign languages. But we are all one people. If you see the relationship between our two presidents and the positive interest they have developed for the betterment of our countries, one can say we really regretted what happened in Sanyang, and there are no words one can use to express sadness upon hearing the news. For you, my country people, I'm urging you all to be patient and keep cool while the two authorities continue to negotiate for your return. I have presented cash of $30,000 to add to what the Gambian government is providing for you all, while I wait for the government of Senegal to send in more support for you. For the governor of West Coast Region, Lamin Sane, the people of Sanyang have been living in harmony with these Senegalese for more than 4 decades. He described the incident as unfortunate, but said the government will follow the matter with great interest in order to bring sanity to the village.
I was able to invite the ambassador of Senegal, Mr. Sen, to come and see himself directly what's happening on the ground, and to talk to the community of Senegal, so that they can be people who respect the law. I know it's something very unfortunate. Nobody wants it to happen this way. The boy who died, Mr. Cisse, we are told that he's a patriotic Gambian, very hardworking, very disciplined, and he was supporting the family, and he's a very, very young person. It was unfortunate that it happened this way, but we are appealing to everybody to understand that it is God who destined this thing. But the government is doing all efforts to ensure that the security of the country, at least, is given priority. And this is why we are also here to talk to the people and the community, to bring peace, to bring sanity as one people. So definitely I would say it's unfortunate, but we are doing all efforts to ensure that it's not again, especially within these areas.
On Monday, a Senegalese national was alleged to have killed a 30-year-old Gambian, Jibril Cissé. The incident led to violent protests by some youth of Sanyang, including clashes between them and the police. According to the Gambia Red Cross Society, 23 people injured during the protests were later rushed to the Sanyang hospital. Babu Karsi, QTV News.
Members of the Gambia Armed Forces serving in the United Nations peacekeeping mission in Darfur are coming home as the UNAMID mission has finally ended. Babu Karsi reports again.
The final contingent of 118 soldiers and 14 officers left the country last September for the Sudanese region of Darfur. They were going to be the last Gambian contingent in Sudan after the United Nations African Union unanimously agreed to withdraw all military troops at the end of 2020 and replaces them with civilian police. Welcoming the first batch of returning troops at Banjul International Airport, Brigadier General Turo Jaune thanked the men and women for maintaining high standards of professionalism.
And you have exhibited professionalism while you are in Darfur. Unfortunately, you are back here today because the UN resolutions has asked us to withdraw all the forces from Darfur. So today you are here. But again, we are happy to receive you because every Gambian here, including His Excellency the President, we are all proud of you because you have exhibited professionalism while you were in Darfur. There was no adverse report against any one of you. It's a pleasure. So I am asked to thank, on behalf of the CDS, he asked me to thank you people very much. And of course, the Gambia Armed Forces Command. We are all happy to receive you people. Well, you are here today, and of course, we are working hard so that we can have another mission elsewhere.
The second in command for Gamkoi 23, Major Abdul Jatta, said as the last batch to go to Darfur, it was important to maintain professionalism as their predecessors had done since 2007. The second batch of the Gamkoi 23 is expected to arrive on Wednesday evening, led by Contingent Commander Lieutenant Colonel Ibrahim Krubali. The United Nations African Union mission was deployed in Darfur in 2007 after a bitter conflict erupted in 2003 between government forces and rebel groups. According to the UN peacekeeping mission, there were some 4,000 troops, 480 police advisors, 1,631 police, 483 international civilian staff, and 945 national civilian staff who are all set to leave the Sudanese region of Darfur. Babu Karsi, QTV News.
Now, some unscrupulous, uncaring citizens have taken to using our forests as a dumping ground, and it is reaching crisis point. In view of this, forestry stakeholders in the West Coast region have laid out plans to address various issues affecting the conservation of the forest in Kabafita, Nyambai, and Kembuje. Among the major issues are illegal dumping of waste and bushfires. Our reporter Mamoudi Gajaga tells us more.
Illegal dumping has now encroached on the forest meant to be protected for the benefit of all. On both sides of the Brikama Highway, at Nyambai and Kabafita Forest, waste is visible, believed to be dumped by unscrupulous people at night. Stakeholders met to address this and other challenges. Lamin Bajo, the Director of Forestry at the West Coast region, called on all to support the initiative to protect the forest.
Environmental minkafo abuka jibe nyimu finkintel nyinke jele abuka jibe nyim bakitita nyimbe kendaran abuko jiba can be serve equally the same services la.
We should all make it a duty to save the environment by protecting the forest because it doesn't discriminate in serving us.
Lamin Jammeh, president of Together Africa Gambia Association, emphasized the destruction to the forest and strategies to clear the waste dumped there already.
We'll have an office.
We took it upon ourselves that we could create a way to employ some people to monitor the forest for our own good. Our forestry officers can't do the job alone.
Among the stakeholders in attendance were some from the security sector. Sergeant Jai, Assistant Station Officer of the Brikama Police Station, spoke on the need to enforce the law by prosecuting those found breaking the law.
So it's better
When you see anyone in the forest engaging in any illegal activity in the forest, you should report it to the nearest police station.
Random bushfires have also contributed to the destruction of the forest. Often, these fires are lit by unknown people, causing massive destruction to the trees, animal, and environment. Here is Fire and Rescue Officer Adama Sanyang.
Imagine being in Birkama, you don't even know the fire and rescue service number. Call someone in Serakunda and that person calls another person. Do you think the fire will wait for you? She asked.
Other stakeholders who attended included alcalos, students, and volunteer organizations. Among the issues suggested was cleaning the current waste in the forest to prevent a reoccurrence through fencing and raising awareness of the environmental impact, amongst others. Dumping in the forest is on the rise and is increasingly becoming a problem because it hinders the objective of keeping the environment clean and can have serious impact on wildlife and the habitat. All of those involved in such disgusting behavior know they are doing something wrong, which is why it is done in secret. Good as they are, stakeholders' meetings are only part of the answer. We are all stakeholders in the environment, and until we as citizens come to fully grasp the harm we are doing to our environment and take individual responsibility to end such behavior, nothing will change. Mamudu Gajaga, QTV News.
And from that report by Mamudu Gajaga, we will take our first commercial break, but the news continues when we return.
Join the Gambia's fastest growing network and enjoy high-speed 4G LTE. Dial *335# to subscribe to QCell's 4G LTE service. There's no need to swap your SIM. QCell, Senior Boss. We innovate, others follow.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. As young people continue to take irregular means to travel to Europe and other countries, there is a need to come up with more creative means to communicate the efforts of irregular migration. IOM on Tuesday held a manga singing competition award ceremony for youth at a local hotel in Senegambia. More in this report from Jennifer Sonko.
IOM's framework of safety, support and solutions in the Central Mediterranean route. Manga is an umbrella term for a wide variety of comic books and graphic novels originally produced and published in Japan. Kumbel Good, the National Grants Officer IOM, delves into the story of the competition.
The story is basically simple. There are two friends, Tunga and Tanga. They've been childhood friends from they were kids to their adulthood. One always had the inspiration to travel out, always wanted to go out, whilst the other always felt and believed that he could establish himself in his community, and he worked hard towards that. As they grew older, of course, their paths diverged. One, even though was dissuaded, still decided to travel out. And of course, as is the typical, unfortunately, the typical stories that we usually hear of trafficking and abuse, the same happened to Tunga. Whilst Tanga, that had stayed home, even though it was not easy, but he developed his own, he created his own company and started his own business, and eventually was employing other people. Now finally, Tunga, through all his experience, had no other option but to come back home because he was challenged along the way.
Artists have often played a key role in social movements in addressing issues ranging from political, social and economic issues. Through their expressive talents, artists can challenge cultural narratives, shift imaginary and inspire emotions in a positive way. Sheikh Omar Jallo, the Director of Creative and Performing Arts at the NCAC, welcomes the idea.
The contemporary musicians, that gives you a whole range of young people, because that's the age group that mostly are interested in migration. So I think it's a good strategy that they have really nipped it in the bud to the right people that definitely needs to know about this information and can sing along with the music. So I think the message would definitely reach the right place, because even as I'm standing here, I'm thinking about Tunga, Tanga, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it already.
The winner says the competition was both difficult and easy. Easy because he is a returnee that understands the challenges of irregular migration, and it is like telling his own story. According to the IOM, over 35,000 Gambians arrived in Europe through irregular means between 2014 and 2018, with many others along the central Mediterranean route opting for voluntary return. Reporting for QTV News, I am Jenna Bosonko.
Now, we have reported on a number of fires where an electric short circuit was the suspected cause. In one of the latest, $2 million worth of valuables perished in Sukuta when a family home caught fire on Monday. Loli M. Kamara reports.
Valuables such as beds, sofas, TVs, wardrobes, clothing, amongst other items were not spared by the devastating inferno. According to the victims, the cause of the fire is yet to be established, but power and electric short circuit appears to be the cause. Sheikh Omar Sane, a victim, explains how the fire started.
Around 12, the
fire started at around 12 p.m. when I was out attending a funeral. Then I was informed that my sister's house was on fire. The neighbors really helped us put out the fire before the fire service arrived. I would like to thank them and other family members for supporting us in a time of need.
Jena Basane, also a victim, shares her desperation and asks for help. We have lost everything. Our beds, clothes, books, ceiling, except for my suitcase. The loss is huge, as materials worth $2 million or more have been destroyed by the fire. Any form of support will be appreciated, as things are hard for us right now. Maimuna Cham, another victim, also has this to say. At the time the incident happened, we were all out except my son, who was supposed to go to school later in the day. I was called to come, but arrived to find a terrible scene. Thanks to our neighbors, the fire was put under control. During the process of putting out the fire, some even sustained injuries and others were affected by the smoke. We are calling on the public to assist us. We have lost everything to the fire. These family members are calling on the public, individuals and philanthropists for support at what is a difficult time. For QTV News, Loli M. Kamara.
Well, quite unfortunate, and still with the unfortunate fire incidents, vendors at Latrikunda Sabiji Market on Tuesday woke up to the news that their stalls had been ravaged by fire. Valuables such as clothes, tailoring machines, basic commodities amongst other items were all burnt beyond saving. Ayajao reports.
Fire outbreaks within the greater Banjul area are becoming a frequent and major problem, presenting a significant risk to businesses, causing huge damage to buildings, equipment and stock. The fire, which was reported to have started at around 3 a.m., lasted for several hours before being put out by the fire rescue services. Alhaji Njai, whose tailoring shop was burnt by the fire, said he was devastated by the incident as he lost all 4 of his multi-purpose tailoring machines and other expensive valuable materials, which he said belonged to his customers. He stated the problems that they are faced with in the market, ascribing them as key factors to the frequent fire outbreaks in the market.
I think the wire connections should be checked frequently, because the problem is that people connect to one meter, which supplies electricity to so many other shops at the same time. Another problem is the lack of routes in the market, which often prevent the fire rescue services gaining access during emergencies like this. They came early to put out the fire, but their truck could not pass through the market. They had to use other options.
Muhammadu Jallo, a victim, also said he suffered a huge loss because everything in his retail shop was burnt by the fire. He explains how he found out about the incident.
My boy Mamadou
Ba, who lives in Busumbala, called me at night and told me that there was fire outbreak in the market. I rushed to the scene and found out that my neighbor's shop was on fire. I tried to break the padlock to my shop, but it proved too difficult. Before it was opened, the fire had already consumed everything in my shop.
Responding to concerns raised by victims regarding the issue of multiple connections to meters, KMC's market manager, Modu Enjai, said his office is unaware of such practice, saying people who engage in such acts are doing an illegal practice. He, however, said that investigations are underway to assess the cost of the fire. He also said that the market management are working on plans to help the victims recover from their loss.
The Kanofi Municipal Council have a planning department and they have an electrical unit. So in the allocation, we always inform them that whoever has electrical problem, make sure you communicate to the market master who is on the ground to invite our technicians to come and see what is possible. If it goes beyond, then we invite NAWEC. But some of them do their illegal connections without the knowledge of the management.
Habibu Choi, a vendor, was devastated by the losses incurred by his colleagues. He also stressed the lack of routes in the market and called on KMC to look into the matter as it is a major concern to them.
They should try to address the issue of routes in the market, because anyone who falls a victim to fire will always be the loser. They have never compensated anyone for his or her loss. It has never happened.
Despite this accusation, it appears none of the business premises had insurance. It once again reminds of the need for businesses to take out insurance. The rate of frequent fire outbreaks within the Greater Banjul area in recent years is alarming and needs serious attention to prevent subsequent reoccurrence. And even though victims suspect electric short circuit, the cause of the fire is yet to be established by the authorities. Reporting for QTV News, I am Yahya Jao.
And we will now take another commercial break, but when we return, we take a look at some more news stories, including business, international, and sports news. We'll be right back.
Buy your QCell credit using your QMoney account without any hassle. Cash in any amount starting from $10 and enjoy the amazing services QMoney has to offer. With QMoney, life is easy. Visit your nearest QMoney agent to cash in or call customer care on 133. Don't forget to wash your hands with soap after handling cash. QMoney, Sunyu Kalpe. We innovate, others follow.
Welcome back, and if you're just joining us, this is coming to you live from our studios along Caraba Avenue. Over now to international news. German authorities have arrested by law a former driver to former President Jammeh's hit squad, the Junglers, for his suspected involvement in crimes against humanity, murder and attempted murder. Alusise reports.
German prosecutors on Tuesday said Bailo had been taken into custody and his apartment searched. The arrest is in connection with Bailo's suspected involvement in crimes against humanity, murder, and attempted murder under former President Yahya Jammeh. On Wednesday, the Federal Prosecutor General's office issued another press release confirming that Law had appeared before the investigating judge of the Federal Court of Justice. Under German law, as with all such cases, the accused or arrested person's full name is not given, and he is referred to throughout as by L. Law was part of Jammeh's hit squad, the Junglers, who are alleged to have committed illegal killings under the executive orders of ex-President Jammeh. Between 2003 and 2006, Bailo is accused of acting as a driver for the Junglers when they attacked various sites, including the killing of Deida Hydra, the ambush on Usman Silla, the killings of Haruna Jammeh, and the mass killing of West African migrants, among others. However, Bailo himself has confirmed his driving role but denies direct involvement in any killing during an interview with Panderi Mbai of the US-based Freedom Radio a few years ago.
non so do leen nekk sax man da ngay ñëw ci koñ bi rek do leen nekk ci boutique kiram exari bu ko xaar fu de yow da ngay dem ci beneen koñ ngay taxaw fa gaay ñoom ñu dox ñu ñëw you know am nga yow man dawal bi laa ci amee man dama daw rek ma ñëw taxaw so gaay ñoom ñëw so man duma leen mën a pour mu wax am nga am sa dañu sax mu du mën leen xam sax.
Bailo was also part of the failed 30th December 2014 attack on State House to overthrow former President Yahya Jammeh. He survived the attack and later fled to Germany. In September 2019, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security announced the arrest and detention in the United States of America of Michael Correa, another member of the Junglers. Bailo arrest warrant lists 3 specific charges, namely, at the end of December 2003, the accused unit received an order to kill a lawyer in Banjul, the capital of the Gambia. In his role as a driver, the accused transported the other members to the scene of the attack. There, a member of the unit fired several shots at the lawyer who survived the act injured. A year later, the patrol team killed a Gambian journalist who was critical of the government. To this end, the unit, with the assistance of Bail, stopped the journalist's car on a street in the city of Kanifing. Subsequently, 2 members of the unit killed him with several shots, with Bail transporting one of the shooters in his vehicle. Subsequently, probably in 2006, members of the unit shot dead an alleged opponent of the Gambian president near Banjul Airport. As before, the accused transported the other accomplices to the scene. It is not clear yet whether the duo will be extradited to the Gambia to face trial. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cisse.
And from the report, we now take a look at some business news. Now, staff of Access Bank staged a sit-down strike on Wednesday about what staff, under conditions of anonymity, say are concerns over the bank's promotion policies and lack of salary increment. Ajibintu Drame tells us more.
All branches of Access Bank were not operating since morning. The strike apparently affected the bank's nationwide operations, and we met customers who expressed disappointment for being unable to carry out financial transactions. Marie Cisse, a customer, is frustrated for not being informed and only found it out when she got to the branch, adding that this could make her think twice about banking with Access Bank.
I'm in the Gambia since 5 months, and I want to have an emergency to go back to Europe. So, and the normal procedure is to go to Access Bank and to pay $2,500 for the COVID test. Now I'm coming to the bank, and they're telling me they're on strike. And I have to leave tomorrow because I have an emergency in Germany. My father is sick and he's very old, so just tell me how to do it. Why they are not informing? Just give a statement from the bank or from the management. We are closing because we have some issues, some problems with who we don't even know. I'm a customer. I just want to pay my test, my COVID test. So what can I do right now?
When QTV arrived at the main branch along Keraba Avenue at around 12 p.m., staff and management were engaged in dialogue to find a solution. However, QTV was denied access to meet the managing director of the bank for management sides of the story. According to anonymous sources, staff were threatened with sack if they spoke to the media. We were unable to verify this, but the staff who did speak to us would only do so on condition of anonymity. Furthermore, the media were asked to leave the vicinity of the bank's premises. Ibu Tamba, a customer, is disappointed and angry.
On the way, Madam Serakunda branch, I sit down strike like I am. So that my affect.
I went to Serakunda branch, but they were also on a sit-down strike, which has affected me. I also met a lady there who was also penniless. I gave her my last money so that she can pay her fare. I am really angry. If things were going this way, they should have informed us so that we could prepare.
Usman Jata, another customer, says he was not informed about the ongoing strike, adding that his plans for the day might not be accomplished.
No, it's not correct. It's so crazy.
This is not correct. I came all the way from Brufut to here, and I can't have my money. It is crazy. I have to buy rice and other things. This has really affected me. It's not correct at all.
As we waited outside, the meeting with the staff was concluded, although none of them will speak to us, and it did not appear that their demands being met. Eventually, some of them confided to us that Access Bank management have promised to get back to them in 2 weeks' time. Ajibintu Dramé, QTV News.
The Senegalo-Gambia Women's Federation have presented personal protective equipment and working materials to the women oyster farmers in Kartong to help improve their working conditions and boost oyster production. More in this report by Ajibintu Dramé.
The items presented were wheelbarrows, 200 life jackets, 200 gloves and 200 boots by the German International Agency through the Senegalo-Gambian Women Federation. After QTV Jigen Show revealed the deplorable working condition of the Kartong women oyster farmers. At the presentation, Ndeye Awa Kane, the president of Senegalo-Gambia Women's Federation, thanked the German International Agency for their support. She adds that more help is in the pipeline.
With your other women, because these are 200 pieces. If you are not more than 200 pieces, I am appealing to you to share with your other oyster farming areas association, which are in other areas. It's for you, fine, but you share with your other members.
Paul Gomez, the Director of Defense and Security at the Senegalo-Gambian Secretariat, had this to say.
So I believe when you take these materials into good use, make sure that you use them and take care of them, especially the canoes that have been donated to you. These are the only priority that you have. You might not have it anymore, so take care of them and make good use of them.
Esatu Jaju, representing the Kartong women oyster farmers, expressed delight.
Glove yiñ doon joytu am nañ ko du doy fu mu nekk jigéen bu nekk am na glove.
We have now got the gloves we needed. Every woman now has her personal gloves, boots and life jacket. It was very difficult for us. We used to take rags to cover our legs and sometimes our legs get stuck in the mud. That is over now. We are very happy. Dudu Seidi, a restaurant owner at the Kartong Oyster Farm, also expressed appreciation for the initiative.
Definitely for us, we are very lucky through QTV and Linger, so the whole world see us what we are doing, and we have supporting on equipment like gloves, life jackets, and so on and so forth, wheelbarrows, and we have even a boat out of this. We say thank you to QTV, man.
The Senegalo-Gambia Women Federation is also promoting cross-border trade between Kartong and Casamas. The federation provides women with the opportunity and tools to uplift and develop themselves. Socio-economic entrepreneurial development projects, among others. Ajibintu Dramé, QTV News.
Women gardeners in Brufut say the impact of COVID-19 on their livelihoods has galvanized them to redouble efforts in gardening to earn a living. Our reporter Lamin Dabo visited 2 gardens and his report is narrated by Yaya Jawa.
Making ends meet in a pandemic, these hard-working women say their garden is their main source of income. They rely on Alatentu and Kankanta gardens to produce vegetables, using the proceeds for the upkeep of their families and paying their children's school fees. Speaking to QTV, the Secretary General of Brufut Alatentu Women's Garden, Mama J. Dabo, who has been toiling in this garden for 3 decades, explains how the garden is maintained.
I
have worked here for 30 years. Then we were the youngest and I'm still here, adhering to the garden rules. We contribute $500 at the end of harvest, which we bank for the maintenance of the garden.
Ajamai Bojang, the president of Brufut Alatentu Women's Garden, says 135 women work in this garden. She commended the women for their hard work, commitment and unity, which she said has always been their strength.
Kambandingul ni sunkutindingul ibe ka doko ke janeti andu ni aje ka doko ke jak ya lonne ko ntolla bu nafanka bo janeto.
This place is full of students during the weekend because they know that their welfare and school fees are from here. We established this garden to help ourselves, our children, and to overcome our challenges. We are role models because whatever we get from here goes back to our families.
The chairman of Brufut Village Development Committee, Parlament Fati, said the garden has existed for over 30 years and thanked the Brufut diaspora for always assisting the garden.
Burfoot Diaspora Association. So this association is the association as at now helping the Garden with full force. How are they helping them? Last year, 2020, there was a default borehole pump. This default borehole pump, when it was reported to me, I tried to engage the VDC and then the diaspora. You know, we have a link, VDC BDA association. So when we have a problem that we cannot solve, if it is beyond our side through expenses, we speak to the diaspora and then they will step in with their different finances to facilitate the program. So this time, a new borehole pump was bought, a new line was done, and the old tank that was there since the First Republic, it was maintenance, and then the solar panels were bought, and then that borehole came into operation.
Vegetable production in the Gambia has been dominated by women for many years. These women deserve to be commended and supported, as their tireless efforts go in no small measure towards the socio-economic development of the country. Reporting for QTV News, I am Yahya Jao.
And here are the foreign currency exchange rates for the Gambian dalasi against a range of major currencies for the week starting Monday, 15th March 2021.
Here are the foreign currency exchange rates for the Gambian dalasi against the US dollar. The dalasi is buying at $49.75 bututs and selling at $52. Against the euro, the dalasi is buying at $59 and selling at $62.50. Against the pound sterling, the dalasi is buying at $65.50 and selling at $71.50. Against the CFA, the dalasi is buying at $415 and selling at $440. The daily currency rate on QTV News is brought to you by Ajib Bank, your investment partner.
And we now take a look at some sports news. CAF's newly elected president, Dr. Patrice Motsepe, has outlined his ambitious plans for an African team to win the World Cup in the future. He has no doubt he will grow and develop the continental game over the next 4 years. Here's a brief report.
Speaking at his first press conference following his appointment, the South African billionaire businessman says, "I am not going to be president of an organization that for 4 years from now has not made practical, tangible progress. It is not going to happen. I am absolutely confident that over the next few years, African football will improve, become globally competitive and self-sustaining. At FIFA World Cup level, we have to succeed and be respected. But the only thing that brings respect is results. African football needs partners who can make things happen. We need partners who will be with us on the ground, who will make a difference. We want women football to be significantly growing and progressing in the period of my presidency." He concluded his statement saying, "Over the next 9 to 12 months, I will be visiting every single one of the African nations. I will also have 2 more meetings this year with all the presidents of CAF member associations, and we will talk about the urgent steps we need to take to improve the game on the continent." Mamudu Gachaga, QTV News.
Well, I'm afraid that's all about it. And on behalf of the entire production team, thanks for watching. Do join us at 10 p.m. for another bulletin.